Hello and welcome to my channel. How are you doing today? Hopefully everybody's doing good. Today I am crafting with a new release from Spellbinders. This collection is called Gnome for Christmas, and I'll actually be working with a couple of different die sets within this collection and then kind of mixing and matching with some other dies or stamp sets that have recently released as well this month. So first, starting off here, I'm working with this really adorable set that has this little gnome who can sit on top of an ornament which it has been designed so that it can swing back and forth. So it basically is similar to the like the dancing collection and sets of dice, where essentially the mechanism is really simple, where you see that donut at the very top of the ornament. You would just pop a little foam dot right there, and that allows the ornament to hang on the foam square or foam dot and freely swing back and forth because it's not attached to anything. And the gnome is really adorable. You get all of the different pieces to assemble him, including his little beard, the hat, which I've die cut out of some pattern paper, along with his body. And you also get the his shoes, which it's just amazing how much detail there is in this, because there's even the extra dies that cut out the different portions of the shoe, so the heel of the shoe versus the top portion of the shoe. And the reason why it's from this perspective is because he's sitting down, so you're looking at the shoes as from the bottom of them. So really adorable, great attention to detail. The other bit that is really fantastic attention to detail is also in the gloves for the hands, because there's actually one of the gloves that, if you look at it carefully, it's not fully extended, and it looks like it's a little bit cut off. But the reason for that is because that's the hand that is actually holding on to the string that the ornament is suspended by. So, like I said, there's just fantastic attention to detail here so that you get all of that perspective correct. This panel is one that I have embossed from an earlier embossing folder club kit. I can't exactly remember which month it was. If it's available for individual purchase, I will link to it along with everything else in the description box below. But I thought that it was a really nice pattern, little backdrop for our card here. And the way that I like to make these dancing cards is I have these rather thick foam circles, and I would say they're probably 4 millimeters thick, even maybe even more. And I like that extra thickness because it's it lets you really hang the ornament on here with plenty of room so that there isn't a lot of friction between the ornament and your card base. And the bow here, which you get all of the dies to create, is meant to sort of close off that foam dot so that basically locks in place the ornament. Now, one thing that you will need to pay attention to, which I didn't initially, is that where you place your foam on the back of the bow here, there's the potential that it might restrict the movement of your ornament. So I would just be careful not to place too much foam, especially where it's on the ends of the bow, where it might actually inhibit the swing action of the ornament. And that really just depends on how much you really want this to swing it back and forth. You could actually intentionally put extra foam there as a way to restrict the movement if you don't want it to swing too much. But be mindful that not only is the ornament going to swing back and forth, but because the gnome is going to get attached to the ornament, you'll see in a bit I'll have to adjust even more, because the top of the gnome's hat actually ends up getting a little bit obstructed by some of the foam that I've placed under the bow. So that's just one of the things that you just want to be mindful of, especially depending on the type of adhesive that you use. Because if you're using a liquid adhesive and it will glue, it will attach rather permanently. So just be mindful of that. And the last little touch is to get his hands attached here. And you can see how I realized that, oh, he's not moving anymore because I've got a little bit of foam too far down. So I love this really simple, interactive, but very, very fun mechanism. And there is a separate die that does cut into your ornament the holly jolly sentiment, but you could also, instead of using that, just die cut out of maybe pattern paper to add some extra pattern and interest to your ornament. So for my second card, I am going to use the Gnome Tree die set, and I've glimmered up quite a few backgrounds. This is actually the Hypnotic Glimmer plate from Boo Dance Party. I just thought it was a lot of fun to use this, because what I've already gone ahead and done in advance is, instead of assembling the gnomes as a tree, I'm going to assemble them in a circle. And it's really adorable, these gnomes. They have, the die does have a shadow layer, so when you go to put this together, you can use that shadow layer as a guide for making your pyramid of gnomes. But since I'm not actually going to assemble them in that tree, what I did was I actually stole the gnome body from the previous die set that I showed, and I used that as the body for all of these gnomes. Now, the beards are rather full, so you barely see the shirts or the body of the gnome, but there is the one style of beard where this one here, where it's split kind of in the middle. So that's where you definitely will see more of the gnome's body. And in terms of scale, it seems like they work really well and can interchange. So I thought that was really cool. And the other thing that I really love about this set is that you do get a die that cuts out all 6 noses at the same time. And then you get a single die plate that cuts out 3 pairs, 3 pairs of shoes. So that way you know, it does speed up the kind of construction of these. Unfortunately, there's only the one die that cuts out the one set of arms, but at least with those other parts, it was pretty speedy to put together. And so, since we do get different dies for the gloves that the gnome is holding, I just die cut it twice out of solid color and out of some pattern paper, and then I mixed it up. So where I used one for the arm, I used the other for the gloves, and vice versa. And so my little ring of gnomes, they're going to be holding hands in this circle, which I thought would be a lot of fun. So you don't really have to use these for the holidays if you don't want to, because I think gnomes are great all year round. And to apply these to my card, I'm just going to put a little bit of low profile foam. It's only 1 millimeter thick, but I will also be using some 3D glue gel as well, because I'm not covering the entire backs of these, and there's going to be some portions, especially the hands and arms because they're so thin, I definitely want to get some adhesive behind that area, and cutting a bit of foam is going to be way, way harder than just squeezing out a little bit of glue gel. That way those get tacked down and they're nice and secure. So that's why I really love using the glue gel, especially when you have different dimensions, which isn't the case with this particular card, but it's really useful if you have different number of layers of cardstock that you're attaching to, and you want to try to give it a nice level finish. You can just press down on that glue gel until it's nice and level. But here I'm using it more because these arms and the hands are just so small. It's really hard to get adhesive there. And because I've raised the body, I can't just use a liquid adhesive because that's not going to, or at least if I pushed it all the way down to the card base, it would look, I think, a little bit strange. So once I get this squeezed out, I just think it's really super adorable having these gnomes kind of in this circle here. And the last thing I'll do is just add a really simple little sentiment. So I just rummaged through my, I have a little folder that I keep sentiments that I've glimmered up and just left as a stash to use. And so I found this one, which was silver glimmered onto black. So I thought that fit really, really nicely. And the gap in the center looked a little bit awkward. And so that's why I decided to put my sentiment right straight in the center there. I hope that you enjoyed both of my cards today. If you did, please consider liking, commenting, and sharing. And if you want to catch new videos as I post them, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing that notification bell. Thanks so much. Until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.